is the most difficult year in med school. No? So for those who can turn on their video, it's okay. For those who cannot, no, I think we have at some point in time we also will be asking you to turn it on. So just to share my slide lang. No? So I will just be lecturing today about the overview of obstetrics and gynecology. So So of course, you know that OB and is different from gynecology in some institutions, in some medical schools. No, uh, we have OB physiologic and OB pathologic. So if you're not yet aware, some schools have this for 3 semesters. No, very much like your pediatrics. Can you hear me? Gab, okay lang? My voice, okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is one difficulty that we have. We have to cram all of these things into one semester. So physiologic, pathologic, obstetrics in one semester, and then gynecology in the second semester. So good afternoon. I am Dr. Bongala. I am the chair of the Department of OBGYN. Dr. Ryan Capitolo is the level 3 coordinator. Okay. So these are the learning outcomes for today. Uh, uh, we have to one difficulty with OB is that uh, it will be a different language to you. It's going to be a different language to you. So part of your um, you try to understand the terms and marami rin kaming Latin terms, no? So it's not like your medicine or your surgery where they share diseases, no? So this is a totally different realm. And of course, these are the terms that we use. We will discuss some of these, no? Then at the end of this, I'd like you to concentrate on different outcome measures, not just because we want you to uh, memorize. I don't want you to memorize the rates, but more or less you know how what the problem is in the Philippines and in the world, no? And problem of maternal morbidity and mortality, perinatal outcome as a reflection of healthcare, no? Our statistics actually are very good indicators of healthcare delivery, no? In the worldwide and in separate countries, no? So that is why our statistics matter a lot. Okay? And of course, you will be able to realize and summarize the current maternal care in the country and look at past interventions that the government has done and our society has also the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society also have been involved in decreasing the maternal morbidity, mortality, and of course, improving the perinatal outcome. Parang Greek, ano, sorry. So, uh, definition tayo. No? So, anyway, for obstetrics, what we have here is we want to promote the health and well-being of pregnant women and her fetus during the uh, pregnancy, no? And through quality perinatal care, no? So we want to make sure that even before she becomes pregnant, we identify medical problems, we recognize complications. We have, of course, part of obstetrics is the supervision and the provision also of safe labor and delivery. And we also provide initial care of the newborn. Minsan wala namang pwede ang darating yan eh. So we also have to do that. No? So can you imagine, we also have to, as we listen to the heartbeat, no? You remember in your didactics of OB, no? We listen, wala pa pala, no? So you will, of course, in some parts of patient doctor, no? You always ask about history, about good fetal movement, no? So we are taking care of two patients here, okay? And we also manage the puerperium. This is the period after delivery. We deliver postpartum care, provision of health, and providing family planning options. So this is the more or less the scope of what you will have in obstetrics, no? And these are the departments and the societies and where we get our guidelines, our definitions, and statistics, no? Uh, you are fortunate enough to be in the department of OBGYN. Uh, Many of us have been instrumental and part of the guidelines that have been established or practice bulletins that have been established by the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society as far as labor is concerned. No? Unlike the other departments, also the OBGYN Society, because statistics is really very important to us, no? And the government does not really have that robust data. We also have what we call the PNSS. This is the statistics of all accredited programs and hospitals. Kahit laing minsan ina-accredited na namin, no? Binabantayan, ibig sabihin namin. So we try to ensure that the standard of care is delivered to the patient. No? So we some are under supervision and some are under accreditation. No? So okay, why do we need definitions? No, not just for you to memorize these terms. No, but when you compare oranges and apples, you have to know what oranges mean and what apples mean. No? So and then that is only the time during which you can be able to say we are providing good care, no? So dapat standard definition. So ACOG and American Academy of Pediatrics. So birth, when we say nanganak ka, no? Hindi naman yan pwedeng just that, no? We also classify the birth is defined as a complete expulsion or extrusion from the mother of the of a fetus which is more than 20 weeks age of gestation. Sorry, bagong ano lang kayo. Weeks of gestation means from the last menstrual period to the date that you see her, kung ilang weeks na, if she is pregnant, that is the number of weeks of gestation that she has, no? How many weeks pregnant is she? That is translating it, no? So, pag birth after 20 weeks, no? Pag lesser than that, no? Younger than 20 weeks, we can classify it as an abortion, no? Or before 20 weeks of gestation, or because of the bad connotation of abortion, some have changed, some have shifted already to the term miscarriage. Okay? So, however, di ba pupunta naman sa'yo yung patient, nanganak lang bigla, hindi mo naman alam ang age of gestation. Hindi mo alam. So, manganganak lang yan sa'yo. So, lalabas yung baby. So, how do you classify the baby therefore? So, expulsion of fetuses weighing less than 500 grams or before 20 weeks of gestation are classified as abortion. Sometimes, yun lang yung nagagamit namin, 500 grams lang, no? Yung iba naman, 20 weeks, no? So, this is where some problems arise. For example, in one hospital where I also have deliveries, no, or I also handle patients, yung abortion nila classified based on the age of gestation. Kahit 340 grams lang yon, pero kung age of gestation niya ay 20 plus weeks, then they say it's a birth. Is there going to be a difference? Actually, there is going to be a significant difference in terms of the uh, for the family. For example, pag birth siya, kailangan niyo yung ipalibing. Ano niyo yun? So the cost really will triple, no? Because if it were just an abortus, you just bless and then you, if they want to be blessed, and then you just give the abortus to the parents, no? So there is a significant difference, no? So whereas in UV, in our medical school, it is really the weight that we use, no? Before 20 weeks of gestation. But sometimes we also have discrepancies, no? As far as this is concerned, no? So the birth weight dapat you get it immediately, no? So it is not something that, sige, I'll just weigh it later, no? In previous textbook of Williams, no, the crown to rump length also was used to define if it was an abortion or fetus, no? Okay, so well, but now it is just the weight, no? So dapat you get it immediately. No? So a very low birth weight newborn is an extremely low birth weight is less than 1,000 grams. A very low birth weight is 1.5, and a low birth weight is less than 2,500. No? So, yun din, we also take note of that also. No? So, it is very important for reporting. Okay? Or if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me anytime, ha? Raise your hand or whatever, or make noise. I don't mind. So, what will tell you naman if it's a live birth, no? It's not as easy as it seems, no? A birth whenever the newborn or sometime after birth breathes spontaneously. So hindi lang siya pwedeng tingnan niyo yung last, no? Yung gas. There are some who have fetuses who have died who parang may ganon. It's not classified as a live birth anymore, no? So sometime after birth, breathes spontaneously or shows other signs of life, no? So heartbeat, that's what we really use, no? The pediatricians use, no? And or definite spontaneous movement of voluntary muscles. So live birth yung characterization niya. Okay? We call it a stillbirth or a fetal death if we have no signs of birth at life, no? Okay. Medyo mahirap ba ang definition? Anyway, I will give this to you. Remember, I do not ask for the rates, but you have to more or less know what goes into the formula. So when you say neonate, nate, newborn. So madali lang yun, na. Um, if they die, no, very early, during the first 7 days of life, we say it's classified as an early neonatal death. And a late neonatal death is after 7 days, but before 29 days. No? So, is it different? Why is it so um, important? No, there are some, like maybe lethal congenital malformations will be in your early neonatal death, whereas yung mga infections maybe would be somewhere later, no? Meconium aspiration sometimes takes a while. Pag pneumonia sila, pag infection sila, so baka yun late neonatal death, but they are still both neonatal. Now, yung stillbirth rate, yung ibig sabihin yung pinanganak, wala ng signs of life, is also measured. No? And the formula is at the box that I have there. So number of stillborn over live births plus stillbirths. No? So times 1,000. Why is this rate important? No? Itong stillbirth rate, no? Or fetal death rate, it is a good indicator sometimes of the quality of prenatal care that is being given in the area, no? Bakit ang daming namamatay na pag-deliver patay, no? Pwede rin siyang during labor and delivery, tapos namatay, stillbirth din yun eh. So, pangit yung care in that institution, no? Or in that area, kung mataas yung stillbirth rate or fetal death rate. Okay? So, tapos yung neonatal mortality rate, the definition is here. Anyway, Williams has this, but I think, it's not also just words in Williams, eh, no? When we say naman your perinatal period, so birth of a neonate, so ibig sabihin, fetus, no? Alisin na natin yung born after 20 weeks or more than 500 grams. In short, it's a fetus that was born, newborn, uh, after 20 weeks and the 28 completed days after birth, no? So that's the interval, yung perinatal period, no? So um yung, ito yung isang data na importante rin sa amin, perinatal mortality rate, no? We accredit hospitals kasi, the POGs, no? And among the faculty, we have a lot of accreditors, part of the Philippine Board of OBGYN. We want to make sure that the level of care that is being given in an NCR tertiary hospital will be approximated in another hospital. So these are the things that we monitor. So we talked about stillbirth, no? Yung mga pag-deliver, patay na, and then neonatal deaths, plus the neonatal deaths per 1,000 live births. So this is what we call the perinatal mortality rate. This will measure your uh, this will measure the level of OB care in that institution. Okay? Yung after 28 days, yung gano'n, before 28 days, namatay yung baby. No? So, or usually, nangyayari yan, yung mga neonatal deaths are because of unrecognized fetal distress or severe maternal complications. No? So, this is the value that we see. However, this value is not always present in WHO. No? So, in our setting, for example, it is not that frequent also. No? Not all, there are problems as far as data gathering is concerned of the perinatal mortality rate. No? Infant deaths naman is defined as deaths of live-born infants from birth through 12 months of age. So these are data that is being gathered by the government. No? This includes even accidental death. No? So, but congenital anomalies usually uh, may be reflected as infant deaths. No? That's why it's also important in the infant mortality rate. No? So, uh, let us, according to age of gestation, ano natin, na, alam nyo naman that, 9 months, di ba? 9 months ang pregnancy, yun yung sinasabi, no? But actually, it's 40 weeks because when you compute the 9 months, in terms of weeks, it is really 40. No? So, neonate born after 37 weeks up to 42 weeks, no? So 260 to 294 days is called a term neonate, no? And follows yung early term, full term, 39 to 40 and 6, and late. We also have your post term, no? Um, late term rather is 41 weeks after 41 and 6/7 weeks. Pag lumampas na siya ng we call it post-term, no? After the 41 and 6/7 weeks. Preterm naman is before the 34th week, and late preterm is 34 to 36 weeks. Okay? It is also very important because there are conditions we have to, especially yung mga preterm, no? This is one cause of one cause of fetal or neonatal mortality, no? Preterm deliveries, no? Kasi 'di ba before 34 weeks before they still do not make your surfactant, which in the lungs of the neonates, no? Which is important for maintaining uh, the respiration, no? Kasi 'di ba if you were to look at a balloon, no? After you inflate the balloon for the first time, it's very difficult, no? Pero if you for the lungs, no, for term lungs, yung initial inflation, yun lang yung difficult. But even if the baby exhales, no, a term baby, the lungs, the alveoli still remains dilated, no, because it is lined by your what we call your surfactant, no, which is secreted by your pneumocytes only after the 34th week, no. So that maintains the surface tension, no? So it keeps it open. On the other hand, before 34 weeks, pag hinga niya, kunyari 32, yung initial gano'n, pag wala ng air, it collapses, no? So, and then the work of breathing is more difficult than for these babies, no? So, but we have now, of course, your artificial surfactant, no? But still, there are still a lot of problems with preterm deliveries. That's why we want that data. We already had talked about an abortus, no? Now, uh, I had already told you how important the statistics are because they reflect medical care deficiencies for the entire population. And of course, worldwide, maternal or neonatal outcomes are used as an index of healthcare and quality of life among nations. So even the United Nations, the WHO, even World Bank actually measures all of these indices, no? Kasi kung ano yung development mo, ganyan. So, birth rate. Mataas ba yung birth rate natin sa Philippines? Anyone? No? So, di ba you see this in the newspaper? Tumaas pa ba? Meron namang increase, no? May increase naman. But they're saying it's not going as high as before, no? So there is the birth rate is still 19.18, but there is already a decline from 2024. For 2025 they are projecting 19.18, no? So a little decrease um in your birth rate, no? This is per 100,000, per 1,000 population rather, no? Ano bang birth, pero ito, yung I classified it, tinan mo yung Sub-Saharan Africa, 32, yung North America, 11, no? So, had decreased, no? There are some countries where the birth rate is only 2%, no? Pag 1% ka na, you cannot replace your population anymore. No? So, that is the and your population will age really fast. No? So this is happening in some of the Nordic countries and of course in China, where they had the one-child policy, then became the two-child policy, but it has not significantly increased. No, so this is our birth rates. No, so okay, this is of course how we compare to other countries. So just I will not ask you about this. Just wanted you to show. I wanted to show you how it has been decreasing over the last few years already, no? Is that good or is that bad? No? So it has to be a balance, no? We always, at least now we have still time to take a look at it, no? And see how aggressive we still have to be. I think we can still decrease it a little further to improve the quality of life, no? Yung fertility rate naman, it's the live births per 1,000 females of the reproductive age group lang, 15 to 44 years old. No? So, in the US, no, there were live births 58 per 1,000 women. No? So, but this has been downwards already. No? Yan na, in 1990s, it has dropped to below replacement births to sustain population level. No? So, and then, of course, for 2019, no, ang konti lang ng kanyang pregnancies and outcomes in the US in the ano. So now for the Philippine Statistics Authority, 2022, the fertility rate of Filipino women from 15 to 49 declined from 2.7 per woman in 2017 to 1.9 children per woman in 2022. So meaning, in your lifetime, a woman will probably just have 2.7 children in 2017 and 1.9 now, no? So ito na yung medyo below replacement fertility level. They said that yung fertility, yung birth rate, iba, pero yung fertility level, now they're analyzing it in terms of fertility, di ba? Yung fertility, we said, only pertains to a certain population, no? So 2.1, medyo mababa na. No? So higher rural areas had still a higher fertility rate compared to those living in urban centers. No? So these are the age-specific fertility rates for the last 3 years. Just wanted to show you, no, syempre, yung pinaka no, would be the 25 to 29. But now we have 30 to 34. Medyo dumadami na rin siya. It's almost as the 25 to 29. The fertility rates, no? Okay, again, the same, 1.9 now. Okay, why has it been declining? Well, according to several studies, there are a lot of reasons why married women actually do not want to have more children. They marry late, they have careers, they're scared of the future. Uh, it's so expensive to raise a child. These were some of the things. Sorry, I was not able to include that, but that was a result of a survey. No? So now let's go to obstetrics. Again, back to obstetric definition and statistics. No, let's go to mortality and pregnancy. This is very important also because this is how um, we see what's happening to our pregnant patients. No, we say that it is an indirect maternal death. No, uh, it's not an obstetrical cause. No, but it was from a pre-existing disease. Kunyari, meron siyang maternal death from status asthmaticus. It was aggravated by the maternal adaptation to pregnancy. Kasi pag pregnancy, medyo because of the abdominal enlargement, no? And then you have decreased lung volume sometimes. No? So you can have more incidents of asthma attacks, no? On the other hand, in terms of yung isa naman, sorry, nagkamali. Yung hindi nagkamali, but yung non-maternal death dapat, imbis na late maternal death, non-maternal death, death of a mother that results from accidental or incidental causes not related to pregnancy. Okay? So, yun yung and then as far as when it happens, uh, hindi naman kailangan ngayon ka mamatay and nabuntis ka eh. It can also happen either from direct or indirect causes more than 40 days but less than 1 year. We call that a late maternal death. And an early maternal death is within 42 days of termination of pregnancy. Hindi from becoming pregnant, but 42 days from termination of pregnancy. Okay? Medyo malabo ba? Okay kayo? Okay, so I see some people nodding. Thank you very much. No? So balik tayo sa obstetric definition. Kasi para maintindihan nyo, kasi minsan lumalabas yan sa newspaper eh. Kasi OB statistics are really part of the news sometimes. No? So when we say pregnancy-associated death, any cause while pregnant or within 1 calendar year of termination of pregnancy. Okay, so, and then pregnancy-related death is, of course, a pregnancy-associated death that results from complications of pregnancy, chain of events initiated by pregnancy that led to death, or aggravation of unrelated condition. Okay, so because of the physiological or pharmacological effects of pregnancy. Okay? So yun yun, pregnancy-related siya. Okay? Yung associated, any cause. Okay, so ano naman yung maternal mortality? Ito, AI. Kasi yung AI minsan, mas madaling intindihin. Kasi baka ito na kasi yung binabasa nyo pag nag-google kayo eh. So nilagyan ko siya ng AI definition. It refers to deaths of women while pregnant or within 42 days of pregnancy termination. due to pregnancy-related causes. Yan yung maternal mortality. Of course, as I have already said, it is a key indicator, no? How well are you taking care of your population? Ito yung palaging tinitingnan. Nadinig nyo na yung Millennium Development Goals, ba? Yun, maternal mortality, kasama yun doon. Perinatal mortality, kasama yun doon. Tsaka yung mga infant death, no? Kasi yun talaga ang binabantayan ng WHO. That reflects our healthcare system, no? So, di ba hindi natin na-meet yun? Ngayon, Sustainable Development Goals na lang tayo. Yung ano natin. So anyway, ito yung definition ng Williams. Tingnan nyo yung simpleng definition ng AI. Death of women while pregnant or within 42 days. Ito, yung Williams, number of maternal deaths that result from reproductive process per 100,000 live births. No? Kasi it is not a rate, but rather it is a ratio. Di ba, rate has something to do with time? No? So hindi siya, it is not time eh. Although it is within a year, no? But the term ratio is more accurate. So this is the number of deaths regardless of pregnancy outcome. So ibig sabihin, di ba meron tayong abortus, nakuna, no? Pwedeng live birth, pwedeng stillbirth. Yung ectopic pregnancy, no? A pregnancy not inside the uterus, no? Nasa fallopian tube siya, nasa cervix, nag-rupture, nag-bleed yung patient, maternal mortality din yun. Kasi meron siyang beta HCG, no? Or kunyari, H-mole, molar pregnancy, wala siyang fetus, but hydropic cells yung nakikita, very, it behaves like a malignancy. It is related to pregnancy. It's still, and if a mother dies there, it's still part of your maternal mortality. No? So, because it is supposed to be rare, kaya naging times 100,000. No? Uh, all of the live births, stillbirths, ectopic, all the outcomes that you can have because of pregnancy divided by the number of live births times 100,000. Okay? So, yan yung siguro yan tatanungin natin, no? Yun, kasi importante yung maternal mortality, how you get it, no? So, yan nga. In the US, it's so uncommon. But, what causes it, no? There are several risk factors. Anyway, this is in Williams. Yung maternal morbidity plays a role in why it is quite high, no? It's on CDC from Williams, no? It is, I just took a picture of some severe maternal morbidities, no? So in the Philippines, anyway, this is the WHO, no? So, tignan natin to. Is later na yung Philippines. Nasingit na yung picture, no? So, how is the maternal mortality ratio and the WHO reporting, no? So, they said that as for Eastern Europe, there was a decline of 70%, no? To have a maternal mortality ratio of 38 that became 11 per 100,000 in between 2020 and 2024 to, no? Southern Asia, 67% decrease. So from 408 now down to 134. And Sub-Saharan Africa, mataas kasi sa Sub-Saharan Africa, mataas pa rin kahit 33% reduction of MMR. Actually, for the Sustainable Development Goals, the worldwide goal is actually 70 per 100,000 population. Tayo ba? Saan na ba tayo? Maternal mortality, no? So 84 per 100,000 live births due to pregnancy-related causes in the Philippines. That was the data that we had obtained. This is from from mga WHO, no, a conglomeration of their data. However, ito, ay walang ano, if you have seen the report recently, they are saying that the maternal mortality is worse than reported, no? Uh, in 2020. So parang hindi siya ganon na 83 per 100,000 population. But they are still trying to analyze the data. The problem arose during 2022, partly during COVID, partly post-COVID. No? So still do not have accurate data. But as far as sorry, pogs yan. Okay. I have rates of anyway, as far as the WHO, there is a Korea International group also that is monitoring our maternal mortality. They have seen that it is really around probably around 70, but they have not reconciled with this new information yet, no? Ito sa maternal mortality rate. Now, I had said earlier about the POGs, and we also have a nationwide statistic system. It's based on WebMD, the residents or of the training institutions report, no. But you have to realize that these are training institutions, and we are what we call your apex hospitals where we receive high risk pregnancies, no. So for 2022, the maternal mortality rate was at 113.4, no. So that was what we had received from the data of all the training hospitals, all the lying in centers that are being supervised and sending data to the POGs. No? But we have to analyze, why do pregnant women die? No? We had already said they're probably their pre-existing conditions. No? But most really result from complications during and following pregnancy and childbirth. I will have data on the causes of maternal mortality. Some complications actually develop during pregnancy, and sometimes it may just start during pregnancy, not recognized before, like diabetes. No, gestational diabetes may not be something that the mother knows about. The mother didn't know that she had that, but because of the prenatal care, she would be diagnosed with the, diabetes. No. However, let us look at the major complications that account for nearly 75% of maternal deaths worldwide. No, hemorrhage. No, usually this is what we call postpartum hemorrhage. Infections after childbirth, high blood pressure during pregnancy, we call it preeclampsia or eclampsia, complications from delivery and unsafe abortions. No? So looking at that, then you can probably try to see how we can improve your maternal morbidity. No, sorry about this slide. No, look at this. No, hemorrhage 27%. These are maternal causes, maternal mortality in the Philippines. Hemorrhage, hypertension is 14%. Sepsis is 11%. No, but you still have indirect, no? Ano yung indirect? No? So bakit, you remember, kanina sabi natin, indirect, hindi siya related, no? Pwedeng aksidente siya, ano siya, no? So, but something also that I'd like to give your attention to is the complication of unsafe abortion. Diba? It doesn't have to be a term pregnancy. It can be unsafe abortion. So, knowing all of these things, no, we can probably help modify. Paano natin mamomodify kaya yan? So, these are the strategies, no? Number one, di ba ang taas nung unsafe abortion? Meron din 8%. So, malaki pa rin yun, no? So, you prevent unintended pregnancies muna, no? So, yeah. So, these are the rates of unintended pregnancy over the years, no? Yung unintended, yung yellow, yung purple, yung dito, yung abortion, no? So, may relationship kasi yung unintended, tapos yung ano ng patient na magpapa-abort yan. Pupunta yan sa Quiapo, bibili yan ng Cytotec, magpapa-catheterize, no? So, yun yung mga unsafe abortion, no? They insert a catheter inside the cervix and inside the uterus and infuse fluids, no? So, of course, your patient will become septic, no? So, this is average annual, no? So, you had by 2015 to 2019, sorry, the rate was you have 71 per 1,000 women, reproductive age women had um, unintended pregnancy, and 35 of them had uh, had abortions. No, so see, look at how it affects. So therefore, by improving your um, family planning, no, availability of all of these things, you can decrease that, no. So ito yung unintended again of all unintended, and a great number will have abortion, no. And because it is illegal in the Philippines, uh, it is usually unsafe. It's usually with infection, no. Uh, just looking at married women and their desire for pregnancy, we had shown this earlier. A lot of pregnant women, of even if they were married, 48.8% do not want to become pregnant anymore. No? So it is a significant number. Only 8.7% have been sterilized. And so So how is it, how are we faring as far as the users of modern contraception? Doon mo lang makikita eh. Siyempre, you have decreased unintended pregnancy if you have more modern contraception. These are the estimates from over a 10, 11-year period. It had increased actually your total users of modern contraception, and the prevalence of use of modern contraceptives have also increased, and the unmet need has decreased, and the demand has been satisfied a little, but not still the rate that we would want, no. However, with this, no, it has a newer estimate in 2023, 7 million women, 7.5 million almost, are using modern contraception now. And with this, there were 2,750,000 unintended pregnancies that they computed were prevented, and 717,000 abortions were also prevented. And 815, no? They did the math. And yung mga actuarian, that's what they do. So, so okay, dun sa prevent unintended, so that means we intensify that, we make sure that um, we are actually in the pogs with the government in providing this, no, even education, even for and to decrease unintended pregnancies. Now, access to high quality care in pregnancy and during after childbirth, no. So, yung antenatal care, yung before pregnancy, these are the rates, no, from for the reproductive age women. So, it's a relatively good rate already. Bakit 4 lang? Kasi yung W4 plus lang na antenatal, prenatal lang. Parang yun yung WHO rate kasi na parang adequate prenatal care. So, when you look at that, no, 86% in 2022 have received antenatal care. But that doesn't mean that they delivered in a hospital. No? Okay, so by region also, these are the rates, no? Total in the Philippines is 82.9. And of course, by regions, you have the rates of antenatal visits, no? So, aside from the antenatal visits, more importantly, no, we have Alam mo yung bakit hindi natin na-reach yung Millennium Development Goal? Uh, may mga strategy kasi before that um, we taught midwives, we taught even the we had the skilled birth attendants, no? That was the strategy of the DOH, but they saw that it did not decrease the we were not able to reach our Millennium Development Goals. It actually increased. So now the move of the government is to have all of the deliveries by not just by actually skilled health professionals na. So meaning hindi na birth attendants but skilled health professionals, meaning somebody who has completed, who has license, who has so it's either the midwives, the nurses, the doctors. No? As timely management and treatment can make a difference. No? So skilled health provider from 2003 to 2022 has increased to 90. So 90 percent, no, but still still need that, no. So some data. So this is ay sorry, di na punta. Uh, this is the Korea International Cooperation Agency, no. We have which have these are the institutions which are helping us, WHO, no? First DOH, yung healthcare provider network. Uh, we are and in relation to the universal healthcare, no? Yung HCPN. Ano ba yung HCPN? Ito yung mga data that they were able to get, no? 64.8 yung COICA in 2022. Pero yeah, as I said, it might not be very accurate, no? So we had a problem during COVID also. Maybe that was why we had very poor recording, uh, and we had higher rates, no? So they thought that maybe that was one reason why it had increased, no? But for now, we still do not have a complete global assessment of impact of COVID, no? Wala pa silang, puro empirical data pa lang lahat, no? So let's go to your SDG. In 2020 sa Philippines 220 in the worldwide 223 per 100,000 live births was the maternal mortality rate, and but the target is now really 70 by 2030. So 5 years na lang to go, no? So yeah, we have our work cut out for us, no? And I hope you are going to be part of that solution. So other obstetrical outcome measures, isa pa, we already talked about this, no? Perinatal mortality rate and the infant mortality rate. Yung perinatal, kasama yun stillbirth, plus neonatal deaths, plus 1,000 total births, no? So this is actually a measure of the care of the institution, of the local government, of course the government, but we are minsan by institution we look at this, no? So it's a measure of your prenatal and obstetric care. So this is the rate for the Philippines. Do you have any questions for now? Tapos yung infant mortality rate also, they also look at that, no? But let me go to your healthcare provider network, no? Yan, ito lang yung mga neonatal mortality, congenital malformations, preterm. So these are just some data that is being monitored as well by the CDC and the WHO. Kasi pag tumataas din yung preterm birth mo, ano rin yun it's also a measure of your obstetric care. Baka poor din yung obstetric care mo doon. So, ito na yung efforts in the Philippines, no? Journey to a better health. May mga BMONC ito. Yung maternal, newborn and child health nutrition strategy and skilled health professionals in health facilities now. So professional na, hindi na birth attendants lang, gano'n. So the strategy is really to improve the people who are there in the on the ground, no? Yun ang aralin masyado yung BMONC na yan. So, yung significant na sa atin ngayon, human, yung HRDB, no? Yung Human Resources for Health. You have sent doctors to the barrios, return to service, no? I was part of the medical residency rotation strategy. We looked for GIDA areas where we sent residents. No? Binabantayan pa rin namin yung residents, but we made sure that they were safe. We looked at the areas where they were going to be rotated at. Yung deployment program naman, post-residency, no? So after mag-OB, dadalhin sila sa isang, when we say GIDA, yung mga geographically isolated areas. No? So these were my involvement with the DOH and the POGs as well. No? And now we have the Espesyalista para sa Bayan. The DOH has, kunyari graduate ka dito, they have already posts for you. No? So what is this essentially? Essentially, this is building your healthcare provider network. No? Ito yung healthcare provider network, part of the DOH, no? So, yun, di nyo ba nahahalata ang daming state universities na may medical school? Yeah? Madami, di ba? Hindi nyo nahalata, marami yan. Osmun is opening, Hospital ng Muntinlupa is opening. Lahat ng they all have, because the goal of the DOH is really kung ayaw nyong pumunta dito, yung mga graduate ng UERM, gagawa na lang kami ng doktor na pumunta dito sa lugar namin. So yun yung nila. Of course, it will take a while. No? So our graduates really go here, no, all over. But our institution, no, is classified as an apex and end referral hospital. UERM, some other med schools, no, has been classified as an apex. So that doesn't mean that you cannot become a specialist because you will not have those patients, no. Even level 2, level 3, you can be an OBGYN. So these are the healthcare provider network. So we are slowly improving the manpower for all of these. No? So it is essentially a universal healthcare plan. So I hope we will have better data when it's implemented. No? So, but now, what is the effect of this to us? No? We have yung DOH kasi, they sent all their, the directive is for the low-risk pregnant patients to deliver in lying-ins, no? We're trying to get it back, no? Meaning the UERM is trying to get it back because we don't have enough low-risk patients anymore. Even your bigger hospitals like Quirino, puro high risk na lang, puro na lang pumupunta sa kanila because the patients, the low-risk patients actually go to the lying-in. So we're working at that, no? Because we want to do it for you also, no? And for the training program. Okay, so future, no? So maternal morbidity, mortality, I hope that you are going to be part of that solution. The placenta accreta spectrum, tumataas yung CS rate. So you talk about placenta accreta when disorders of placentation, and of course the field of prenatal genetics is now very promising as well, no? So with that, no, if you have any other questions, I can entertain one or two. Otherwise, you can message me. I am in Canvas. We will create a group. Usually we have a group with a batch, no? But that was when I was level coordinator, but I'll try to be there as well. No? Any other questions? Wala? Okay. So, enjoy the first few days of your school year and I will see you around. Thank you.